up? It's your host, Torry, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you're having a great start to 2024. I've been seeing online a lot of people saying that 2024 is giving summer 2016 vibes, and I'm unsure if that's true as of, January 3rd, but I would fucking kill for that. Like, I would be so happy. Like, put on One Dance by Drake and, let's fucking go. So today we're going to talk about the Paul Mescal rumors. I know his last name is Mescal if you're new here, but I call him Paul Mescal. We're going to talk about the Kardashians, Bachelor Nation, the really funny / sad Below Deck lawsuit, Amanda Bynes' podcast, and then we're going to talk about my 2024 resolutions or intentions. We're going to chat about how kind of annoying they are to make, and hopefully you've made some too and we can chat about those, on Instagram or whatever. Then I'm going to nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week and share my This Week in Petty. So Christmas Eve, I don't know, it's not technically like a holiday, I guess. We don't have too many traditions at my family on Christmas Eve. We did as kids, but, as we are all adults, we don't really have any of those, same traditions. And so it's kind of just a day waiting in anticipation, I feel like, for the 25th. I'm not gonna lie, I had the most fun I've ever had, I feel like, in my life. Honestly, my family wouldn't even know this. They're probably listening to this and being like, really? We, played Rummy Cube and watched Dash and Lily. But I was sitting on my parents' couch for multiple hours, scrolling TikTok, scrolling Twitter, and liking every single one of the Paul Mescal tweets. So if you didn't hear, basically a viral TikTok happened. I feel like everything in this day and age starts with some fucking Randy Jackson person went on TikTok, started a rumor, it went viral, and now we're all talking about it. But basically a random on TikTok was like, hey, I'm from the North London area, and there's stories or gossip that basically Paul Mescal goes around North London asking girls or people, I should say, for threesomes at bars by himself. And so there's so many tweets of people being like, okay, BRB heading to North London, which same. And then the second thing, part B, is that allegedly after he has a one-night stand with a person or people, he takes them on a walk in a park and then runs away. and I was dead thinking about Paul, waking up in the morning and just being like, hey, should we go grab coffee at this little, local coffee shop and then take a walk through blank park. And if that was me, I'm like, okay, this is fucking it. I snared this man, because if he wants to take me for coffee and a walk, this is it. This wasn't a one night stand. This is way better. And so, if I'm the person, I'm having the best day of my life. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go for a walk. This is the chance. I'm sobering up. I'm, putting on my best comedy show. I'm, using all the bits, whatever. And then just to think about the high I would be at to the immediate low when I bend down to tie my shoe, look up, and he's 60 meters down the road would actually be fucking devastating. Absolutely so brutal. So I was LOLing. There was so many funny tweets and TikToks and articles about this. I read a Jezebel article and I'm going to share some quotes because I was just LOLing. So this author writes, I should have wrote down their name, but I didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm not a strong runner, but I have gone to great and shameful lengths in the name of horniness. My endurance when it comes to letting men with accents embarrass me, Olympian. I'm the Flojo of fuckboys. Thus, when rumors of Paul Mescal's alleged proclivity for literally running away from his hookups began circulating over Christmas, I was flooded with more than the usual dose of delusion. I, Audra Hendricks, that's the name, thank you, the author, thanks Audra, could keep pace with him. So she goes on to say and like chat about the rumors, and at the end she says, in the new year, I wish Mr. Mescal a lot of rest, so much that he might even just become a little out of shape. Meanwhile, I'll be loitering outside of bars in North London and training as my life depends on it. Because, well, it kind of does. No truer words have ever been spoken. Thank you so much. I had the best time. We also got a lot of Paul content because his sister, Nell Mescal, yeah, that's why it's like it couldn't be not Nell Mescal because that would be really bad. So it's obviously Nell Mescal. I'm talking like working this out with myself, and everyone's like, yeah, we know, like there was no chance that it was Mescal. But anyways, Nell posts a little bit on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. She sometimes posts Paul, albeit brief, and sometimes he'll be in like the background of stuff. And she posted a video of him taking a shot and then like ripping a cig. And I don't know, you guys, but I'm deeply unwell. I'm very, very unwell. So anyways, Paul, I hope you are having a great 2024. Let's talk about the Kardashians. So we got Rocky's first photos, the new Barker baby, super, super cute. I hope that fam is doing really, really well. Black and white again, I definitely think that's like their aesthetic. And we got a lot of Christmas content as we do every year from the Kardashian fam. So we get a full roundup from Kim of everybody's wrapping paper. And I just was thinking like how funny it would be if I went to my family's Christmas tree and was like, hey everybody, like posted on my Instagram, like, hey everybody, this is like Quinn's wrapping paper, this is Rowan's wrapping paper. Like this is how they wrapped all their gifts for people to like look and judge or like think it's aspirational or whatever. It's like, it's so random. Like this bitch is literally posting how they wrapped their gifts as if we all choose a theme every year and like stick by that. It's like, here's Torry's gifts. She is using the same tube of wrapping paper that she has for the last 7 years because she bought the XL the XL wrapping paper from Walmart, and it's lasted her 7 years because like she doesn't buy that many Christmas gifts, I guess. Like it's just so ridiculous to think about. We also, I want to say before we move on from the wrapping, Kim's wrapping, fucking sustainable queen, was Skims t-shirt fabric. And I could just imagine them at their like management, like house management meeting, just being like, Kim, like, what's the vibe for your wrapping paper this year? And some person that probably got a raise was like, oh my God, we should do it in the Kim's like cotton fabric. And then her just being like, yes, that's it. I couldn't imagine opening a package or like a present that was covered in t-shirt material. It's just so weird. And like that she says they were sustainable because she can reuse it. It's like she would reuse that. Like, in what world would she ever wrap another gift in that or like use it to make a t-shirt or something? Like, it's like that's going directly in the trash. I will say I liked Kourtney's wrapping the best. It wasn't the most, I think why I liked it because it wasn't the most like unique or anything like that. Like, I've seen it kind of done on TikTok before, but basically it's just like dark foresty green, emeraldy green wrapping paper, and then a slightly darker but kind of the same shade ribbon. And I think why I like that is because I have seen it on like TikTok and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I want to do this for my gifts. Not all of them like they do. And I would have to use it the year after because, again, I can't just like throw out the extra wrapping paper. But I think it looked really chic. But a lot of you over on the RTBP Instagram, I did a little poll, really liked Kendall's. And Rob's. Rob's, I felt like, was like the most normal people wrapping. It was like, you know, kind of like a cheesy depiction of Santa Claus with some like snowball ribbon. And Kendall's was really, really, really beautiful. And then, of course, we got their Christmas Eve party, which is always fun to watch because, again, it's just so different from my life. Like I was saying, I was literally in pajamas all day, sitting on my couch on Twitter, looking at Paul Mescal tweets and pictures and TikToks. but they were in full glam, full ball gowns at the Christmas Eve party. Kim hosted it this year, and she made her Calabasas home a winter wonderland. I live in BC, and when I tell you, like, skiing and snowboarding and snowshoeing and snow is like BC. Like, it is what we are known for, I think, in the world. Like Whistler and winter sports and obviously hockey and stuff like that. But, like, I think specifically, like, it's so integral to our culture. That sounds like a very white person thing to say. Maybe not our culture, but our lifestyle. Like, it is so integral to, I feel like, the lifestyle of, you know, the average BC person. Because I've grown up here and lived here all my life. Like, we would be at the mountain every weekend, and like my parents before that, their family would do that every weekend. And it's just so, a part of our lives. And we are having like the worst ski season ever. No snow, record high temperatures, the driest winter we've had like in years. And it's like fucking devo to probably our economy, but also just like our well-being and like lifestyles and stuff like that. Like, this is what people look forward to every year. And to see Kim's house in Calabasas with all the fake snow that looked more snowy than a lot of the mountains here in BC was not only dystopian, but just like so, like, such a fucking mind trip. I can't even tell you. And like, please let me know if this rings true for you too. But just like her posting the aerial drone footage, like screenshots of her house with all of the snow that she made or imported or whatever, actually made me sick. Like, she was sledding with Paris Hilton. Like, they've done that every party that Kim's hosted or whatever. Very cute, very nostalgic, very fun. But like, I was like, bitches, I was gonna say bitches here haven't even sledded this year. Kids here haven't even got the chance to sled. But you're sledding in Calabasas. Like, it was just so weird. And then just the juxtaposition of her posting the reusable Skims wrapping paper to the overconsumption of her party was just so funny. And that's just Kim. Like, that's just Kim. That's just celebrities. That's the whiplash you get when you're on Instagram stories looking at something like devastating and then frivolous. Like, it's just so weird. It's just such a weird time, I feel like, to be online. So anyways, that's my rant over about the snow and stuff like that. But oh my God. All the girls minus Kim did a little bit of a lip sync to Santa Tell Me, I think Ariana Grande song. And it was super cute, and it was really reminiscent of their old days when they would make lip sync videos. And I swear to God, and if someone can think of who this was, please let me know. But I swear to God, someone said, maybe it was a TikTok, maybe it was a podcaster, maybe it was me. They said that lip syncing or like these homemade videos, like funny videos from the Kardashians. They're going to start doing them more to, again, get more like relatability, more like family values type stuff and PR. But I actually, like, this is it coming true, whoever said that. And if someone didn't say that, I am saying that now. Like, it is really smart. Like, that's why we fell in love with the Kardashians back in the day, was because they would go to, you know, Costa Rica and stuff like that, and then make one of these videos and like post it. And it seemed so like homegrown and organic, and what I would do with my family members. So super, super smart, even though they were in like full ball gowns this time. They weren't just like in their bathing suits or whatever. And Kim wasn't in it. They said Kim was too busy, or they couldn't find her or whatever, which I think is so classic that Kim hosting a party would be like running around, greeting everyone, making sure everything went off without a hitch, and not able to do the lip sync. We saw North in Kanye West's Balmain jacket, which he wore to the Met Gala when Kim was in that really cinched mermaidy dress that looked like it was like all crystals, but it looked kind of like water, and he was in like this bedazzled denim jacket. So I thought that was cool. And then a lot of people noticed that it was sponsored by Coca-Cola, which I think the first person to say this was Robin from Girl Boss Town. But I have definitely talked about it on the podcast that the Kardashians are / have been working with Coca-Cola for a long time behind the scenes. We've seen so many pictures of them holding Cokes in front of a Coke vending machine, asking for Coke on the show, like, or Coke products. And it just, I think, shows you that advertising like that can be so subtle, and they probably don't have to like disclose that. But we saw that picture with Pete and Kim at that New York restaurant with a Coke bottle, like, or a Diet Coke or something like that. So it just really shows you that these things come into fruition. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Coke has been working with them for a while and being like, hey, we'll pay you if you put Coke in like the background of your video, or if you order it at a restaurant on your show? Or B, do you think that they just love Diet Coke like your girl, and it has been in these pictures and stuff like that because they love, I feel like, American iconography? I think the Coca-Cola symbol, everyone, like, you know, knows it, loves it, whatever. And they love American iconography, so it's just been in their photos. And then Coke reached out to them and they were like, oh yeah, we'll sponsor your full snow mountain sledding like backyard portion of your Christmas Eve party, because we think that the brand symmetry, or I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like it would just work out. We would both benefit from this. I don't know. You tell me, please. And then the last thing about the party was Timothy was there. And yesterday, there was just some blue tiled pool photos of him and Kylie in Mexico. So they are on. I think there was like some rumors that they might have broken up because she changed her phone background, which, like, LOL. Like, I feel like I'm in high school being like, yeah, so Kylie changed her phone background. It's not her 7th grade boyfriend anymore. They definitely broke up. But yeah, so Timothy was at the party. Landon posted, which is Travis's son, posted a picture of Travis, and then Timothy and Kylie were in the background, which I also am so curious. It's like, did he know that? Or was he just like, you know, snap, post, or like, I don't know. I want to know those things so bad, especially when it's like coming from the kids. But then yeah, they're in Mexico right now, so they are obviously hot and heavy still to this day. And then the last viral bit of Kardashian news is that Kylie Jenner did a Travel Town ad, which is like an iPhone game that, you know, it's like Candy Crush or whatever. And so many people were like, how poor are you? Or like, how bad you need money. Like the way that no one believes that you play this game called Travel Town. And it's just like, how desperate are you for money? And how much did this company pay you for you to make it worthwhile to do a Travel Town ad? So absolutely wild. I've been on TikTok lately and I've seen like Sam Ferrer or whatever from Summer House and Winter House do like a fucking Travel Town ad. Like it's absolutely bonkers how they could get Kylie. I bet there was, I don't know, maybe $1 million exchanged, and why they would think that she would sell products. Like, do you think that people, like, I guess maybe kids maybe signed up to play this game because of the ad? I don't know. So weird to me. Okay, let's get into Bachelor Nation news. I feel like when I want to talk about Bachelor Nation stuff, it's like the old school alum that I used to follow when I watched it. So Kaitlyn Bristowe, there has been long time rumors that she was like hooking up or talking with Zac, who was Tayshia's finalist in her season. And we talked about this. Jenna from Date Card Pod actually spilled a lot of tea about this on my last Patreon episode, which covered 2023's pettiest moments. So head over to patreon.com/RTVP podcast if you want to hear about that. I don't want to say it on this public pod because it's, you know, her information to share. It's a little bit more protected behind that paywall, but there was some spicy tea from that. But I want to say that, I don't know, it's kind of seems like the rumors are true. So basically what happened was Kaitlyn hosted a big New Year's Eve party in Nashville, and like it was huge. There was like a tattoo artist. It was like, seemed like a really great time. Katie Maloney was there from Vanderpump Rules. And there was like a cozy pic of her and Zac kind of like side hugging. He was also like right next to her while she got a tattoo, and people lined up, you know, because obviously this wasn't like a direct shot of them. People lined up what he was wearing in other pictures with fucking Blake Moynes and these kind of background images. And I was like, oh, that's weird. That looks like Zac. So there was tons of rumors that they are like hooking up, and there's even rumors that she was cheating on Jason, and people were like, is it with Zac? So she went on like a wild rampage on her Instagram, posting about how, you know, everyone for speculating about this is like a gross person. It's really hurtful and harmful and stuff like that, which I don't disagree. I think, you know, these types of rumors are hurtful and harmful and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, when you look at the evidence, I'm like, I don't know, it kind of looks like what it is. So let me know what you think, if you think that they're hooking up. I personally don't think that she cheated on Jason with Zac. I don't know if when she knew the relationship was ending, or maybe she wasn't feeling it and was like not emotionally in it. I don't know, maybe they started talking or something like that, but she doesn't seem like a cheater to me. Neither does Zac, to be honest. So yeah, I'm unsure what is happening, but I guess only time will tell. And I also want to say, just like Tayshia, if you didn't know, was really good friends with Kaitlyn because they hosted, I think, a season or 2 seasons together of The Bachelorette when Chris Harrison was fired. So it would just be really fucking weird. I think it's even kind of weird that she's hanging out with him if like Tayshia's her friend and stuff like that, regardless. But then I guess like when you're just Bachelor alum, like how would you, like, if you're inviting all of your friends, like how would you not invite this person? I don't know. It's probably confusing at best, but let me know what you think. And then Rachel Lindsay, she announced, or I guess Us Weekly announced, her divorce from Bryan Abasolo. And I think, like, I was actually sad because I really like Rachel. So just to know that she's going through something painful makes me sad. But I've never like super loved Bryan. so I was also kind of like, she can move on to way better things. So I'm sad, but I'm also like stoked. I actually cannot wait to see who she dates next. I think kind of the world is her oyster at this point because she has done so many other things since The Bachelor, so many great things in the entertainment news space. I love her podcast, Morally Corrupt, and Higher Learning on the Ringer Network. Morally Corrupt covers Bravo shows, so if you're into Bravo, especially Real Housewives, you should definitely check that out. And I could totally see why maybe the relationship didn't work out per se, because they lived apart for a really long time. He was in Miami because he's a he's a chiropractor there, and she's always been hustling in LA, so they had kind of a long distance relationship for a while. And then I also love this take. I was on the Bachelor Nation Reddit, and at Ms. J43 said he also tried his take at his own Bachelor podcast and a health podcast and YouTube channel no one cared about. I actually think Bryan really wanted a platform, and seeing his wife succeeding in the business he wanted was hard for him. Which, isn't that just the biggest gripe I have about men, is like, that just kind of tracks. And like, let me know if you don't think that tracks, but like, she is fucking killing it. I would say people know her not even as a Bachelorette contestant. Like, people just know her as a news reporter and like celebrity, which you can't say for Bryan. And then like, no offense, I was a Peter girl. I'm not gonna lie. I was a Peter Kraus girl. I watched that finale live. I saw the fake eyelashes, and I was like, and just, he was so fucking hot. And I was like, this is it for her and for me. But then when she said, no, you guys, it was editing, I was always going to choose Bryan. Like, Bryan's my person. I was like, okay, love that for you. And because I really like you, I'll support that, and I won't like root for Peter anymore. I feel like she had a really tough time coming off the show, probably also put a strain on their relationship, because everyone was like, no, Peter's the one. Like, Peter, or at least they set up the editing to make it look like she was gonna choose Peter for the entirety of the fucking show, and then she chooses Bryan, which is so dumb of the fucking show. I guess it's like, what do you want? Explosive ratings at the finale or a successful couple? And I guess that the Bachelor Nation folks decided they would rather have an explosive finale, because I think even with the Kaitlyn and Sean situation, it's like, if you would have dialed down the edit on Peter and on Nick, then I bet Sean/Bryan would not have so much jealousy and so much doubt that their girlfriend or wife or fiance or whatever was picking them or meant to pick them, because they watch the show back and they're like, oh, so you picked me second, basically. And I think that that is an unstable foundation to start a relationship on. So anyways, I think there's multiple factors of why it didn't work out, but I am sad for her nonetheless. Here's the thing. He's asking for spousal support. Also, I don't think I said this, but it's like the YouTube channel and the podcast didn't work out because, no offense, I think he's kind of a wet blanket. Like, I don't, like, again, I rooted for him and them because of Rachel, but like, I feel like he has no personality. Like, the day after the finale, he fucking trademarked Dr. Abs or something like that. It's just, it's all fucking weird. But anyways, so he's asking for spousal support. And like, I don't get this, because it's like, they're both working professionals. They both work in LA. They're both doing totally fine. They have no kids. Why are you asking for spousal support? Like, I totally understand why that concept exists, for sure. But like with a 4-year relationship where both parties are making their own money, good money, like he can just, you know, continue being a chiropractor or move to Miami or whatever. Why the fuck are you asking her for spousal support? Like, it's so embarrassing. Like, I would never do that because it leaks to, you know, the news, and then we make fun of him for it. And then, I would not want to spend that money. It's her hard-earned cash. They don't have kids. She's the one hustling. And I know that he probably obviously supported her through all of these big career changes and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I just think that's like fucking weird. And she's been through a lot. Like, she was at the, you know, the forefront of the Chris Harrison firing. So like, I just think it's like she earned that. And it's despy and weird and sad that you're asking for spousal support. Anyways, all the best to Rachel in 2024. Let's move on to the Below Deck lawsuit. So this is fucking wild to me. Sad because it's probably like someone's addiction / like maybe selling drugs to people. But like funny because I just don't understand what these two were thinking. But anyways, so on Below Deck Med in 2019 and Below Deck Sailing Yacht in 2020, a couple, Dr. Francis Martinez and his wife Jessica, were charter guests, and we got to, you know, watch their charters. He is a urologic surgeon in New York. Super fun, blah, blah, blah. They were indicted, both Francis and Jessica, in court in mid-December, accused of using the names of Below Deck cast members to fill out prescriptions for opioids, specifically oxycodone, and they were charged with 4 felony counts of criminal sale of prescription for controlled substance by a practitioner and 4 felony counts of falsifying business records, and they pled not guilty. But, like, could you, like, why it's funny is, like, why are you using famous people's names? People who don't even live in New York. I don't think one person off of the Below Deck franchise is from New York, like, or currently resides in New York. But why did you choose Below Deck cast members? So it's like, hey, prescription, the oxycodone one for Daisy. like I just can't imagine, like, having a straight face, like, going to the pharmacy and being like, hey, I gotta pick this. I got a prescription that I have to pick up for Captain Lee. like, and I know you would say their first and last name, so it doesn't sound so crazy, but like, it's I don't know, so weird to me. So basically what the grift is that Dr. Martinez was electronically transmitting multiple prescriptions, so I guess that means like faxing, multiple prescriptions to pharmacies across Long Island under the name of different former Below Deck cast members, despite none of them living in the vicinity, and then Jessica would go and pick them up. So fucking wild. So weird. And I just think it'd be like, if anyone looked into your medical like business records or whatever and was like, hey, why are you, like, you met these people on the show and now you are giving them opioids? Like, it's just so fucking weird. Like, that, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. But anyways, I was just having a little LOL at thinking of someone picking up a prescription and just being like, oh, it's for Captain Sandy. Okay, anyways, let's move on to Amanda Bynes' podcast. So I just want what's best for Amanda Bynes. She is my, like, I think if I think about girls in like the early 2000s or whatever, and I think about who is my favorite, I always have a soft spot for Hilary Duff because I loved her content. But like, truly, it was Amanda Bynes. I thought she was just the light of the world. I loved her comedy, her physical comedy, her timing, her everything. She was so beautiful, so smart. And yeah, just I felt like she was like 1 in a million. And she still is 1 in a million to me. But she obviously everyone probably knows, but she was under conservatorship, kind of like Britney Spears from 2013 to 2022. But it was with her parents. So again, similar to Britney, but she has a good relationship with them. And it seemed to work out for her, which is like, I don't know. I still don't believe in conservatorships for these young women at all. But she hasn't spoken, ill about it. And when she thought she was in good health and she tried to get it, like she petitioned to get it removed, like they supported that. So I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a nuanced combo, but she, I think, had a very tough time. I think this is detailed, obviously, throughout her history, but very tough time being a child star. She worked with Dan Schneider, who, as probably people know if you follow like blind items and stuff like that, but seems to be like a disgusting person, as well as Jeanette McCurdy really detailed her work with Dan Schneider in her book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, her memoir that came out, I think, in 2021. So you can just imagine with Jeanette's account and other stars' accounts of working with Dan, what Amanda endured, because she was the star. Like from the Amanda show on, she was, their little money maker. So I can only imagine the pressure and inappropriate, behavior that happened to her, really. And that makes me like just so sick to my stomach. So she has had, a tumultuous relationship with also her mental health. Again, that's been documented through the 2010s. But recently she started a podcast with a co-host, Paul Mescal, which is allegedly her best friend. I don't know why I'm saying allegedly. She is saying he is her best friend, and he is a biochemistry PhD student. And their first guest was Dahlia Moth, a tattoo artist who she met at Spirit Halloween, which I just think is like so funny. I listened to the podcast, and I think for the first episode, it was actually really good. And Amanda prepared so many thoughtful, really great questions for Dahlia. Obviously, I feel like first podcast, like, they're always your worst because you are gonna like immediately improve for your next one and keep improving. But, I was like, I love this new endeavor. So then she goes on TikTok and she says, so even though the podcast is doing really well and the response has been great, I'm going to take a pause on it for now. We are not able to get the type of guests that I'd like on the show, like say Jack Harlow or Drake or Post Malone. And so everyone was like, oh my God, no, you should like stick to it. I also was like, I feel like she could get these types of people, like maybe not Jack, Drake, and Post, but I definitely, well, not even that. I feel like Jack and Post are kind of in like their flop eras. So like maybe you could, but I'm like, girl, you could probably, you have a Rolodex of people. I feel like she could totally get previous co-stars like Freddie Muniz. I feel like she could get like, I don't know, tons of the girlies that she used to work with. And I don't think it wouldn't be like brand safe or anything for them, because we saw in the Dahlia episode, the types of questions she was asking were really thoughtful and like well put together. And so I was just like, I feel like she could get stars like this. Yeah, like maybe not like super A-list, but definitely like BC girlies. So then she posted, I think that podcasts just take time to grow and to build a following. I shouldn't have said what I said last night about not getting the type of guests we were looking forward to getting, because you never know, we might get them in the future, and the guests we have lined up are really great. I thought this was a good like response, because totally, if I was like, oh, but my episode's scheduled with Amanda next week, like now I feel like an asshole because I'm not Drake, but like it's also shows that like podcasts like just don't go viral like maybe TikToks or YouTube videos and stuff like that. I think it is way harder to build an audience with from a podcast than these other mediums, and it is very, I think, slow, but I'm like, oh girl, like keep going. But she said if the podcasting like didn't work out, she would just do it like a job, like a manicurist and stuff like that. And I was like, man, oh man, if I ever walked into a shop and it was Amanda Bynes, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. But I also love that she just has like realistic goals. Like, I feel like people sometimes think that when actors or singers or whatever move on to other things, they're like, oh, well, like, it's because your career flopped. And it's like, or they just did that for a period of their life and like wanted to like try something different or whatever. Like, sometimes it's like, well, do you want a job for 40 years? And maybe you do, but a lot of people, you know, bop around jobs nowadays. So anyways, so we're like, okay, we're gonna get more from the Amanda and Paul podcast. Their episode dropped on December 6th. Haven't dropped a new one yet, but we're still waiting. But then some more drama cropped up. An ex-roommate of Paul's, which her TikTok handle is at @everybodyhatesxtina. Her name is Scarlett Ray Summers, and she posted that she was an ex-roommate of Paul's and would also cat and dog sit for him when he was away on vacation. She said that he killed her dog in a blood moon ritual. And by the looks of him in that first podcast episode, and he was wearing like a white Jesus style muumuu and his hair long, I was kind of like, is this far-fetched or is this the reality? And she said he also abandoned one of his dogs, left it with her, and that he was a sociopath and not a real scientist. And then another TikTok creator at Barrett Paul looked at the UCLA records and couldn't find anything about him, but he did work there up until 2020. He doesn't like currently work there and has published scientific papers. So like he's not lying about his like PhD goals or whatever, like his work in the science field. The dog rumors were also proven to be false, and Scarlett has since deleted all the videos. So I have no idea. I wonder, like I said at the top of the episode, if people just, you know, randos just like make a viral TikTok about people just say whatever and then like gain popularity and then delete them all. Like, that's so bad. So we're unsure of the next steps for the podcast, but I don't know. I'm waiting with bated breath. Okay, let's move on to my 2024 resolutions. So in 2023, I didn't complete all of my resolutions or my goals or whatever intentions, but I did really nail some of them. I've talked about this on my podcast. I think I even have an episode petty about New Year's resolutions, but like, I'm not a Resolulu girl just because I don't want to put myself in the mindset of like, okay, tomorrow I will be a completely different person, like that all or nothing mindset. It's like, now I wake up at like 6 a.m., drink my green juice, like go for a run, like work all day, and then like whatever. Like I'm not that girly. I don't want to be that girly. I don't want to set unrealistic goals just to like punish myself to like when I don't achieve them, basically. So in 2023, my North Star, which is something I learned from my sister, but just kind of like the broad kind of path that you want to follow or whatever, was practicing enjoyment. And I 100% did that. I did a lot of traveling this year, but I think instead of like just like running around and taking pictures, like I really enjoyed what I was eating, who I was with, like the sights and smells and views and stuff like that. Like I really, really think that I was able to do that. But then also in my real life, I feel like I've been able to do that too. I've set up my apartment to be super cozy, like no harsh lighting. I just have like some little table lamps and stuff like that. I will, you know, turn on my diffuser with some oils, or I will put on some incense and, you know, just wear comfy, cozy clothes. I will make a nice latte or tea or pop with lots of ice and really just enjoy what I'm doing, whether that's like editing a podcast or something like that. Like I will set up my space so I can enjoy it. So I think I really did that in 2023. So I want to continue that in 2024. I also, one of my goals was to try a new recipe each month, and I definitely did that thanks to like TikTok and, you know, Pinterest and Instagram and stuff like that. I've been able to try some really fun recipes that I wouldn't have been able to try beforehand for like dinners and also baking. And so that was like really fun. Not all of them like turned out or whatever, but it was just fun to try something different, be creative and stuff like that. Oh, and then my last 2023 goal that I was successful at was restarting therapy. I restarted therapy after like, I don't know, kind of like a 1 or 2 year break. Because I just didn't feel like during some of those like pandemic years that I was able to work on the things I wanted to work on in therapy. I definitely used therapy as like a support, like supporting me through some of the points of like the pandemic and stuff like that. But in terms of like wanting to like, you know, unpack things and like grow and work on things, I just felt like I didn't have any capacity for that. But finally in the fall of 2023, I felt like I was able to do that. So I restarted therapy. So that was very exciting. And in 2024, I think, I don't know what my intention or my North Star is going to be. I'm still working on that. That was another thing. I was like, kind of all winter break, I was like, I really want to, you know, sit down and like do this before the 1st. And then I was like, literally, why? Like, so I wrote down a few things. I'm like, you know, testing them out. And then if I have my goals by like the 15th or this weekend or whenever, that's fine. That's completely fine. It doesn't mean that they're like not gonna happen or not valid or like anything like that I didn't have them done by the 1st. But I have a bunch of journals, different journals. One by Emily Rose called The Stuff I Hate Journal. And I, you know, have like a few different style of journals, like with prompts and reflection and stuff like that, which I really like, but I want to work through them because sometimes I'll like start, but then like stop. But I really do want to, you know, make some effort to go through them. I really want to try a dance class or do some like YouTube dance videos. I did ballet for like, I don't know, since I was like 5 to 17 or something like that, and loved it. And I would love to take like an adult dance class. I've taken other adult dance classes before, but, and I do bar classes right now, which is like a little bit of ballet with exercises. But I don't know, I've been really feeling like I want to put on like a costume and like dance and stuff like that. So anyways, I want to try a dance class, and then I want to use the amenities in my apartment more. I think this also kind of goes with like the practice enjoyment. You know, want to get the money's worth. Obviously, it's like you pay for them, you should use them. But also, I think, so we have like a pool and a hot tub and a sauna, and then a games room and with a big TV. And I'm just like, I should use that. Like, I don't have cable at my house. I should go use their cable. I should sit in a hot tub and like soak a little bit and read one of my books in there or something like that. Bring like a bubbly in my Stanley cup over there, like something like that, and just really enjoy. So those are my goals right now. I haven't finished them. I think I'm going to add a few more and kind of figure out what my North Star will be this year. But that's kind of what I've started on. I think also one thing, because I've been really working on this over the last couple of years, is like there was other 2023 goals that I had that I didn't complete. And instead of like beating myself up or being like, that was such a waste of time, or like, you didn't even try anything new, or like whatever, I was just like, okay, I'll put them on for 2024. Like, it doesn't have to be like so serious, I guess is what I want to say. But I think when I recorded back in the day an episode about New Year's resolutions, one of my New Year's resolutions was like to chop food nicer because I hate how, like, when I'm chopping an onion or whatever, it's like some are like chunks and then some are like diced and stuff like that, which I think I am a little bit better at. And I think one was like swear less or something like that, and it's like that just did not happen. Anyways, do you have 2024 intentions or resolutions, or, you know, like a theme or a vibe or a vision board or whatever for 2024? Message me. I would love to chat with you about it. I love hearing what other people's are because it gives me inspiration. So send me a message. Would love to chit chat about that. Okay, let's move on to Pettyweight Champion of the Week as we wrap up today's episode. So this is the part of the show where I'm going to nominate a Pettyweight Champion of the Week, someone in the media who did something petty and it was iconic. And this I kind of stole from one of our patrons, Molly, who pointed this out to me, but on the New Year's Eve celebration, the Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve, Green Day performed a few songs, and Green Day performed American Idiot, which is obviously an iconic song. It was released in 2004, and I'm pretty sure it's specifically talking about the George Bush era of the US. And there is a line that says, "I'm not part of a redneck agenda," which I think in this case, it means red as in like conservative, but correct me if I'm wrong. But the lead singer, Billie Joe Armstrong, replaced that line with, "I'm not part of the MAGA agenda." And I think people kind of went wild. Like, I just think that it's a live performance, so like, I think they can't change it. That so many different people watch Dick Clark's New Year's Eve event, and so having that happen is fucking petty and iconic. Petty with a purpose, the purpose to take down the fucking worst person in the world, Donald Trump. So an iconic move. Super, super petty, and I want to bring more of this energy into 2024. Okay, finally, it's time for This Week in Petty, where I'm going to share a story about something that happened in my real life that I'm petty about. What am I petty about this week? I think my favorite This Week in Petties are ones that everyone can relate to, and it's like something mundane that's happened in your life that you want to like talk shit about. Like, obviously, it's fun when it's like you know, putting orange juice in your annoying co-worker's like plant or whatever. Like, those are fun, super fun. But like when it's just like, I hate picking people up from the airport, or like going camping and not being able to have access to Wi-Fi actually made me want a KMS. Like, I don't know. Those are the ones that I want to talk about. So I have two of them for you this week, both car related. I am the queen of parking tickets. You probably don't know that, but I am. And one, it's because like I don't believe that paid parking should exist, which I know it's like, that doesn't mean you just like don't pay. But like, I have a few parking tickets at my uni. And I had two with my city. And I was told by a close companion that you actually can't not pay the city ones, that they go to collections, and like you could be actually like in trouble, and like it hurts your credit score and like leads to like bad stuff happening. So I had two outstanding parking tickets. I think I have three with my university, but like I'm not gonna pay those ones. But I paid off my two parking tickets. They had been sitting, like they happened in April 2023. I feel like such a relief that they have been paid off. And I made such a big deal about this. I think that a lot of people can relate to this. I had such a bee in my bonnet about these parking tickets, and like they actually was like ruining my life. Like I felt like I was a bad person, a criminal. I was like, I'm gonna be bankrupt after paying these, like blah blah blah. I pulled out the parking tickets because every time I would get one, I would just put them in a pile in my closet and then feel bad about myself for 6 months. I pulled them out to pay them because I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going into 2024 with a clean slate, at least with the city ones. And one was $20 and one was $30. It's just so funny to me when you build something up in your head and then you look at it and one was 20 and one was 30. Now, I didn't pay them, so the 20 became 40 and the 30 became 60, but it was still $100. Was I pissed that I had to pay $100 instead of 50? Was I even pissed that I had to pay 50? Abso-fucking-lutely. But literally that hung over my head since April 2023, and it was $100. Like, I would spend that at a night at the bar. Like, it just, oh my God, it just fucking blew my mind. I was so mad at myself. I thought that was a good learning lesson that's like, no, just deal with these things head on. Don't let them create anxiety for 6 months thinking that you're a bad person, a criminal, like a, I don't know, person that's like getting in trouble and stuff like that when it is literally $50. So crazy. Paid off those. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I want to go into 2024 with a clean car. I'm going to go get my car professionally cleaned. Not where they do like all the soaps and suds and it's like $400, but like vacuumed, wiped, sprayed, whatever. It's like $50. My car was disgust. So I was like, I'm going to treat myself. It was like maybe like 75 with a tip and like tax and a tip. And like, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going to like pay this. It's like, that's a decent chunk of change because I could have gone to a gas station and, you know, tossed a loonie in the machine. But I was like, no, it's my treat for myself. I conquered my fear of paying off my parking tickets. I want to go into 2024 with a clean car, clean house, clean slate. I go get my car done. Looks stunning. The blue Meanie, never looked better. Driving the car from the auto detailing place to my ballet bar class, and a bird just unfucking loads on my car. And like, I'm not even kidding. When I got out of the car, I was like, there's no way that this is one bird, because they hit my windshield twice. They hit my hood like 2 or 3 times. They hit my driver's side window, my mirror, my driver's side mirror. It was so disgusting. But the good thing was that since I was driving my car, it wasn't parked or anything. I could like immediately put on my windshield wipers and then like clean the front and the side when it hadn't like dried and like stuck on my car. But oh my God. And I was like, is this karma for like spending some bougie money on getting my car cleaned? Is this karma for the parking tickets? Like, what is this for? Or, you know what? This is a new thing. Change their mindset, negative to positive, as people would say. And I said, know what? No, it is not karma for doing all those bad park jobs and stuff like that. It is good luck heading into the new year. Look at that. Okay, friends, I hope you had a really good time. I did. And if you're still listening, bless you. I hope you have an amazing 2024. I want to say I have a new podcast coming out, which is very, very exciting for me. I have had RTBP for 5 years. I have had my Patreon for 1.5 years, and I want to talk about some smutty romance books. So I am launching Ready to Be Romanced on January 10th. The first episode is going to cover A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, but like the book was good. And it is with one of my best friends, Megan. It's going to be so fucking funny and so fun. I'm so excited. And then my second episode is covering my life with the Walter Boys, which is a Netflix series and book. We cover both with one of my also best friends, Jen. I'm just so excited to talk to these girlies, introduce you to some more of my friends, talk about some smutty romance books. It's going to be really, really fun. So if you want to check out Ready to Be Romance, you can follow me on Instagram at Ready to Be Romance. and you can sub to my podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'm very excited. Even if you're not into romance novels or like smut or anything like that, check it out, because if you like my style of humor and conversation and stuff like that, and critical, convos, it's going to be a lot more of that. And maybe I'll convince you to become a romance reader. I was also on 3 different podcasts over this winter break. So I was on Jenna from Date Card's Patreon. We talked about what we would change in Bachelor Nation heading into 2024, how the show can change up their structure and casting and ways of editing and stuff like that to make their show good again. And then I was on Cam's Patreon. We did our 2024 pop culture predictions and some Taylor Swift specific predictions. I feel like that was one of our best episodes together. I feel like we were both in our bags. Like, I think it was really, really good discussion. And then I was on Maddie's podcast, Parked Car Convos, reacting to the PCC listener predictions for 2024. So we react to all of those. Super, super fun. So you can go check all of those out. I will put links in the episode show notes. Over on Patreon, I had, I think actually probably one of my favorite episodes ever. I did a deep dive on the cultural impact of TMZ. I did probably the most research I've ever done for an episode, and it was so fun and interesting to me, deep diving such a juggernaut in the entertainment news space. So that's up on Patreon. And then with Jenna from Date Card, we covered our 2023 pettiest moments from celebs. Super fun to kind of revisit and relook at 2023. In this week's episode, I'm talking to Bethann Patrick, who is a writer and a host of the podcast Missing Pages. And we talk about the boom of celebrity memoirs and why they are having such a moment in, history. So that was really fun recording that. I want to give a shout out to Hannah F. and Haley. Thank you so much for being patrons. Thank you so much for contributing to our Discord community. I appreciate you both so much, and it's been really fun getting to know you a little bit more this year. Mwah. If you want more from me, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at RTBP Podcast. And I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.